Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is KJ Jams, and today we're going to be looking at the most anticipated films of 2019. Now, full disclosure, these are going to be my most anticipated films for 2019, not perhaps what the general public is thinking are the most anticipated. And that's because this is my channel, so of course it's going to be my opinion. So I have approximately 18 films I'm going to discuss. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so the number 18 film is the new Child's Play. The first one came out in 1988, and there's been about 8 of them or so over the years. And they started out pretty good. Maybe the first 2 or 3 were decent. Now the first one was really good, and the second film, probably just a little notch below the first. Then things really started going downhill with Child's Play 3. And then I think Child's Play 4 was Bride of Chucky, and by that time it was getting really bad, to be perfectly honest. And I think that's probably even the last one that I saw, because the ones that come after that really are kind of like rubbish. So yeah, I'm kind of down on the franchise. However, that said, I am interested to see what they do now. As a kind of it's looking more or less like a reboot, so to speak. So I am kind of curious how they resurrect this thing. Now you might say, oh, you've just kind of talked bad about it, why are you making it on your list? Well, remember guys, I have it at 18, so calm down. Alright, so now at 17 I have Toy Story 4. Now so as we all know, these have been around for a while. The first one was in 1995, the second one in 1999, and then that third one in 2010, and now we're coming in at 2019. So there's been really long delays in these last couple ones. I'm presuming that they're going to have Tom Hanks and Tim Allen in it. So by and large, if they's in it, it's probably going to be good quality. I've seen all the ones up to now, so it's just part of my due diligence. Yeah, I feel like I should see it. Again, I have it at 17. It's not high up on my list, but it's on my list. At 16, I have the new Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. Now you might be saying, oh, wow, 16. Yeah, just being honest. This one that came out before, frankly, to be honest, just wasn't too keen on it, to be perfectly honest. It really was slow in a lot of places. The action was not all that great, to be perfectly honest. So I'm a little downish on this new franchise. Looking back, I like the Tobey Maguire trilogy the best, and every time they reboot it, it kind of loses a little luster. So yeah, 16. At 15, I have the Lion King, the live action. Well, actually, it's not really live action. The computer generated version of Lion King looks really good. Looks very well done. Again, not making a real big deal out of it. The original, I guess I'll call it cartoon, is a classic. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with this. I mean, if you've seen the first one, you've pretty much seen this one as far as the story is concerned. No real surprises except, they're using a lot of new voices. So that should make it interesting. So in my mind, yeah, I do want to see it. how it looks in 2019. At number 14, I have the new Charlie's Angels. Now it's going to have Kristen Stewart in it. I'm not too familiar with the other two ladies, to be perfectly honest, but I've seen all the prior movies. The ones with Drew Barrymore were, I'll say, decent, were respectable. Looks like it's probably going to be a lot of fun. Now, I haven't seen any trailers for it or anything, but I expect it to be a lot of fun. So I am curious to see what they do with it. At 13, I have Avengers Endgame. Now, for a lot of you, might seem kind of lowish, but to be honest, I'm not a big Avengers fan. Yes, I've seen them all. I did like The Winter Soldier, which is not really an Avengers movie, but you get the idea. The last one, Infinity Wars, decent. Again, I'm not a big Avengers fan, so I have that at 13. At number 12, I have Captain Marvel, so I'm putting it just ahead of Avengers, perhaps just for the sake of the fact that it's brand new. We don't know what this lady does or how she looks like. I mean, we know what she looks like, but you know what I mean. We don't know how her powers look. I'm going to give it a chance. In advance of the movie, people are kind of a little skeptical of the film, to be fair, and even skeptical of Brie Larson in the role, but it is brand new, and every time I've thought it wasn't going to be that good, it turns out to be good. I didn't think Aquaman was going to be good, in advance of it. Turned out to be much better. So I'm going to give that film a chance. At 11, I have the It Chapter 2. So I saw the first one. I liked the first one. This is Chapter 2, so the fact that they're calling it Chapter 2 will certainly lead you to believe they're gonna stay kind of close to the book. Now, as I understand, the first one was, pretty similar to the book. Of course, they can't adapt everything, but from what I hear, they were pretty fair with, staying close to the book. So, if this one again kind of aligns itself with the book, you figure, and it's the same people, making it. If it's the same people making it and everything, I expect it to be, pretty good. So I have it at number 11. At number 10, I have the new Godzilla movie. Now, you don't know what you're going to get when they bring back Godzilla. I mean, it's really, let's face it, it's pretty hard to make a fresh reboot of Godzilla every time you bring it around. But, here we go. The fact that they have Millie Bobby Brown in it kind of adds a little intrigue, I'll say, to see what she does with it. So this is pretty much her big screen debut, I believe. Of course, she's been on Stranger Things for a million years, but as far as the big screen, I think this is really, her big marquee film, if you want to call it that. Alright, so at number 9, I have the new Terminator film. Now, I've seen all of them. Now, the first one was very good. The second one was even better. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That's probably my favorite of the series. In fact, that's my favorite hands down of the series. 3 was alright, but I would put that probably third. I rate Terminator 2 number 1, Terminator 1 in the second spot, and Terminator 3 in the third spot. And you know, the recent ones, Salvation, Genesis, all them, really, I mean, to be honest, kind of forgettable. I mean, how much do you remember those films, guys? Barely nothing. So yeah, the fact that this one has James Cameron involved with it and Leonard Hamilton coming back certainly makes it an intriguing proposition. So yeah, I'd have to say, yeah, I'm very curious to see how they re-enliven that, reinvigorate the franchise. At number 8, I have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, if you're dealing with Quentin Tarantino, I mean, how far down can you put it on your list? It really has to be in your top 10. I'm a fan of Quentin Tarantino. You could argue I should have it higher, but you know, the subject matter, you know, from what I've seen, it doesn't really call out for me. So I'm putting that in number 8, pretty much because it's Quentin Tarantino, you know, on name alone. So I am curious to see what this new film is going to be like. At number 7, I have the new Fast and Furious, Shaws and Hobb, or Hobb and Shaws, whichever. I really like all them films, very actiony. You know, there's always going to be some pretty ladies and some cool music and fast cars and action and everything. So, and I know it's not the whole typical cast, and you know, to be honest, I couldn't tell you which one is Hobbs and which one is Shaw. I just know it's The Rock and Statham in it, and let's face it, doesn't matter as long as them two is in it. It's going to be pretty predictable, I know, and they're going to be best friends, and they're going to argue, and then they're going to fight each other, and then be roasting each other pretty much the whole movie. I get it, but what can I say? Bring the popcorn. I'm ready for it. At number 6, I have the new Shaft movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Now you know, I was about to say the first one, but I mean, as you may know, came out in about 1975. Richard Roundtree. Then there was Shaft's Big School, then Shaft in Africa, etc., etc. And you know, the first one is a classic. The second one was decent, and Shaft in Africa, pretty much forgettable. Now this reboot with Samuel L. Jackson, directed by John Singleton, a number of years back. You know, it was pretty good. I'm not going to say it was fantastic, but it was pretty good. It does surprise me a little bit that there's, you know, it's been so long before coming out with a new one. I'm sure there's a reason for that. You know, doesn't really matter. I'm curious to see what this one is going to be about. Now, I do know that they got like his son in it now, and I believe they have Richard Roundtree coming back as like his father. So now it's like 3 generations of Shafts. To be honest, when you have films like that, whether it's like father and son combinations or husband and wife combinations, stuff like this, and I don't know, I have to admit I'm a little, I'm not too keen when they do that kind of stuff, bringing in a son and now they're gonna fight crimes together as the 3 generations. And if you've seen like the promotional pictures, they're all dressed the same. They got the long maxi coats. It's sort of cute, but I'm cringing a little bit, to be honest. You know, that said, I'm going to give it a chance. I do want to see how they do with it, and you know, if it has Samuel L. Jackson in it, it can't be but so bad. So, yeah, I have it at 6. That's pretty high. Let's face it, pretty high. So there is a huge curiosity factor involved. Okay, at number 5, I have the new Men in Black International. And let's face it, guys, on my list, it seems like there's a lot of reboots, right? Quite a lot of reboots. At any rate, Men in Black International has one of them Hemsworth guys. I forget which one. Doesn't really matter, does it? And Tessa Thompson, who I believe was the new Apollo Creed's girlfriend turned wife. So she's cool. I like her. I've seen parts of the trailers. It looks like a lot of fun. I've seen all the prior ones, and kind of was going downhill. So, now with this new cast, I'm curious to see what these two bring to it. Now, let's face it, they're both young, so they picked two kind of young cast people, so you figure they're keen to have some sequels and whatnot. So let's see what they do with that. I am intrigued and curious to see what this reboot's going to look like. At number 4, I have John Wick 3. Now you probably say, wow, that's way high up on your list. But what can I say? It's really a great action movie. I'm a glutton for that kind of action. A shoot 'em up. Who cares why he's mad at people? Doesn't really matter. Do you remember why he was mad in the first two? No one does. Doesn't matter. He's going to be doing a lot of cool stuff, shooting people in the head, jumping over brick fences, and running down the hallways, and shooting people through walls and all that cool stuff. And they're usually a nice looking film, very stylish. That hotel that they stay at is cool. I kind of like the whole sort of environment they're in, that whole kind of basic premise with the hotel and the other killers and their creed and their rules and stuff like that. So as far as like anticipating the movie, can't wait to see a movie. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Alright, in the 3 spot, we're getting to the finalists now. In the 3 spot, I have the new Joker movie. Well, I shouldn't call it the new Joker movie, but you get what I mean. The Joker movie. I mean, the guy's been in a few movies. This is like his first movie by himself. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, who we have not seen before. But they always pick some really talented actors to play these Jokers. And with Joaquin Phoenix, he can be really sort of crazy and really get into these kind of wacky, weirdish roles. And the few little scenes I've seen have been kind of weird, and so yeah, with him in it, if it was just some random person, some random action person, you'd be sort of so-so. But with him, it really brings a higher level of interest, because he's just a fantastic actor, and he's going to bring something very special to the role. Hopefully he has a good plot and everything. I have no idea what kind of action it's going to have, but I have a very high interest level in seeing that film. At number 2, I have Us, the new Jordan Peele film. Now he brought us Get Out, and this isn't really a sequel per se, but I think a lot of people kind of see it as a follow-up to Get Out, and sort of has that same from the looks of it, has that same kind of vibe, i.e. sort of a horror, suspense. Now this looks a little more actiony than Get Out, and you know, from the looks of it, you would probably expect it to be like some type of social commentary attached to all this in some way. You know, you would, that's kind of would be your expectation, I believe, which is cool. And so yeah, you know, the guy makes good films, so yeah, that's way high up. If you say, wow, I'm really highly curious, that would be number 2. And now coming in at number 1 is Star Wars Episode 9. Now 7 I liked a lot. 8, really mixed feelings on that. I've made a lot of videos about 8. Go check them out. Well, I'm not going to say all is forgotten, but you know, now that you have J.J. Abrams back, I'm looking forward for him to do a great job. And if you had to pick one person to clean up the mess, I'd have to say that would be J.J. Abrams. I mean, he knows where all the bodies are buried. You know, he created all the loose ends. I'm sure he had sort of a vision, you know, somewhat of a vision how these things would end up or could end up, or how he could logically bring them together. You have to figure in 7, he created these loose ends with sort of a vague understanding of how he could bring it all together. And in 8, they pretty much dropped the ball on that. And now in 9, I have confidence, rightly or wrongly, that this guy can, you know, bring it home the appropriate way. Now, let's face it, his hands have been tied somewhat from all that happened in 8, as well as, you know, the untimely passing of Carrie Fisher. That said, I have high hopes that 9 will be very satisfying. So that's my number 1. Those are my 18 most anticipated films of 2019. I hope you like my presentation and analysis. Comment down below if you agree or disagree. Also, if you like this presentation, hit the like button, and you can also subscribe. But otherwise, I will see you again soon. Bye bye.